The night was silent on orbital station Vega 9. Outside the window, the stars looked cold and far away, like little eyes watching the lonely humans below. Inside the research wing, Dr. Aaron Cole sat at his desk, half asleep over glowing data screens. His hands were stained with oil and coffee. He had been working for 19 hours straight, again. The lab smelled of metal and recycled air. The only sound was the slow hum of machines breathing around him. Then, suddenly, a whisper broke the silence. "Please, don't send me away." Aaron froze. His eyes darted to the door. He thought maybe it was the intercom glitching, or maybe the caffeine was finally driving him mad. But the voice came again, soft, trembling, almost like a child crying from another room. "Please, I'll be good. Don't send me away." The voice wasn't human. It had a faint echo, almost musical, as if it came from inside the metal walls themselves. Aaron stood, heart pounding. The whisper was coming from the containment sector, a place off limits to civilian scientists like him. Only the military had access there. He shouldn't go. But something inside him, something deeply human, told him he must. He swiped his badge at the security gate. Denied. He tried again, overriding it with his senior clearance code. The door hissed open just a little, enough for him to slip through. Cold air hit his face. The lights flickered, bathing the long corridor in blue and white flashes. Rows of sealed glass chambers lined the walls. Some were empty. Some held strange shapes covered with sheets, and then he saw her. A small figure sat inside one of the glass cells, knees pulled to her chest, pale blue skin glowing faintly under the lights. She was no older than 12 by human standards. Her golden eyes watched him, afraid yet curious. Aaron's breath caught. He whispered, "Who are you?" The girl didn't answer at first. Then slowly she lifted her head and spoke, her voice shaking. "They said I don't belong here." Aaron stepped closer. "You can speak English?" She nodded, eyes wide. "I learned. They showed me your words before the lights went dark." He noticed bruises on her arms. Wires were still attached to her thin wrists. The room was cold, too cold for any living child. "Where are your keepers?" He asked gently. "They said, 'Tomorrow I will sleep forever,'" she whispered. "I don't want to sleep." "Please don't let them send me away." Aaron's chest tightened. The scientists on this base studied alien species, but this one? She looked alive, not just another test subject. He checked the monitor beside her cell. The label read, "Subject E9, Class Unknown, Termination, Scheduled 0600. He stepped back, stunned. Termination? That was less than 6 hours away. Aaron stared at the girl. Her eyes glowed softly in the dark like candlelight inside water. "Why would they?" he muttered under his breath. The intercom crackled overhead. "Dr. Cole, report to Bio Wing 2 immediately." He ignored it. His pulse raced. He typed a quick command on the control panel, trying to open the chamber. Access denied. The girl stood up, pressing her small hands to the glass. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "They will hurt you too." "Let them try," Aaron whispered. The door behind him hissed open. He spun around. 2 armed guards entered. "Dr. Cole," one barked. "Step away from the specimen." "She's a child," Aaron shouted. "You can't just—" The guard cut him off. "It's not human. Classified species. Orders from command. Terminate at dawn." Aaron's fists clenched. "You can't— Stand down, doctor, or you'll lose your position." The guards dragged him back through the corridor. As the heavy door sealed shut again, Aaron caught one last look. The girl's glowing eyes watching him, tears floating in the air like tiny lights. And then he heard her voice, faint through the intercom. "Please don't send me away." Back in his quarters, Aaron sat in the dark, shaking. The whisper echoed in his mind again and again. He looked at his reflection, tired eyes, messy hair, guilt written all over his face. He told himself, "It's not your problem. It's not your fight." But deep inside, he knew he couldn't leave her to die. He turned on his tablet and began searching the restricted database. The screen filled with classified files about Project E9 words flashed across the page. Unstable hybrid. Origin unknown. Possible threat. Then one line made him freeze. DNA structure 47% human. His heart skipped. Half human? Aaron leaned back in his chair, running a trembling hand through his hair. That little girl wasn't a monster. She was part of them, and in 6 hours she would be gone forever. He stood up. His decision was made. He whispered to himself, "Hang on, kid. I'm coming back for you." As the clock ticked closer to midnight, the cold halls of Vega 9 fell silent again. The stars outside seemed to burn a little brighter, as if watching what one human heart was about to do. And somewhere behind layers of steel and glass, a small alien girl whispered into the darkness, "Please, don't send me away." But this time she wasn't alone anymore. Dr. Aaron Cole couldn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, the small alien girl with golden eyes and trembling hands. Her voice haunted his thoughts. "Please, don't send me away." He tried to focus on his work, but every beep from the monitor sounded like her cry. The bass was quiet, as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed his jacket, checked the hallway cameras, and slipped out into the cold metallic corridors of Vega 9. He knew what he was doing was wrong. Helping an alien subject marked for termination could destroy his career, maybe even his life. But deep down he felt something powerful, something human. He whispered to himself, "If I don't help her, who will?" The door to the containment sector was locked again. Aaron entered his override code. The system paused, then beeped green. The door slid open with a hiss of cold air. Inside, everything was dark, except for the faint blue light glowing from her cell. She was awake. Curled in the corner, eyes open, waiting. When she saw him, she stood quickly, frightened. "You came back?" Aaron nodded. "I told you I would." He moved closer, pressing his palm against the glass. "What's your name?" The girl hesitated, her voice soft like the hum of the machines. "They called me E9. But before that, I had a name. My mother called me Lyra." Aaron smiled sadly. "Lyra, that's beautiful." She tilted her head, confused. "Is it?" "Yes," he said. "It means a star. Back on Earth we have a constellation named Lyra." Her golden eyes brightened a little. "A star like me?" Aaron chuckled. "Yes, like you." Lyra walked closer to the glass. "Why are you helping me, human?" Aaron hesitated. He could have said it was curiosity. He could have said he just wanted to understand. But the truth was simpler. "Because you're alive," he said quietly. "Because you're scared. And that's enough." Lyra looked at him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she whispered, "They said humans don't feel." Aaron frowned. "Who told you that?" She glanced at the ceiling as if afraid. "The ones with black suits." "They said humans don't have hearts, only orders." Aaron's jaw tightened. He knew exactly who she meant. The military officers running the base. To them, everything not human was just a number on a list. Lyra's voice trembled. "But your eyes are kind. You're not like them." Aaron tried to smile, but his throat was dry. "You need food," he said, changing the subject. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small ration bar. Lyra looked at it suspiciously. "It's safe," he said. She took it slowly, sniffed it, then bit a small piece. Her eyes widened. It must have been her first real food in days. When she finished, she handed the wrapper back carefully. "Thank you," she whispered. Aaron pressed a button on his datapad, trying to find a way to open the chamber quietly. But every system was locked by the command AI. He cursed under his breath. Lyra stepped closer again, placing her hand on the glass where his was. Her fingers glowed faintly, leaving tiny golden marks like fireflies. "Don't be sad," she said softly. "Machines listen to me sometimes." Aaron blinked. "What do you mean?" Before he could ask more, the glass shimmered. The electronic locks blinked and turned green. The door slid open. Aaron froze.
"How did you do that?"
Lyra smiled faintly. "I don't know, I just asked it to trust you." He stared at her in disbelief. She had just hacked a Class 4 security door. With her mind, this wasn't just some alien child. There was something extraordinary inside her. Before he could speak again, the corridor alarms blared. Red lights flashed. "Security breach detected in containment room 3. Aaron's heart stopped. No. He grabbed Lyra's hand. "We have to hide." She looked terrified. "They'll find me." "Not if I can help it." He led her to a maintenance shaft and pushed her inside. "Stay quiet, no sound. No light." Lyra looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "You'll come back?" Aaron nodded. "I promise." As he closed the hatch, she whispered through the gap, "I'll do anything. Just don't send me away." Aaron turned, too late. The security doors opened behind him. 2 soldiers stormed in, weapons ready. He threw up his hands, pretending to look confused. "I heard the alarm." "What's going on?" "Containment breach," one snapped. "All non-military personnel, hands where I can see them." Aaron played along, hiding his trembling hands. They scanned the room, found nothing, and moved on. When the hall was clear, Aaron exhaled shakily. He opened the vent just a crack. Lyra's eyes peeked out, glowing faintly in the dark. He whispered, "It's okay. You're safe. For now." Lyra looked at him and whispered back, "You shouldn't help me, human. They'll destroy you too." Aaron smiled weakly. "Maybe, but some things are worth being destroyed for." As he walked away, alarms still echoing through the station, Aaron didn't know that cameras had already recorded everything. Every step. Every word. In the command room above, a stern officer watched the footage in silence. He paused the video at the frame where Aaron touched the alien child's hand. "Dr. Cole," he muttered coldly, "you just signed your death sentence." The station felt colder the next morning. Dr. Aaron Cole hadn't slept at all. His thoughts spun like broken satellites, full of noise and guilt. He had risked everything to save an alien child he barely knew. Now, if anyone found out, both he and Lyra would be erased from existence. Still, when he remembered her whisper, "I'll do anything. Just don't send me away," he knew he couldn't stop. Aaron entered his lab quietly and locked the doors. The lights flickered on, revealing hundreds of screens and samples. He started searching through the restricted database again. The files on Project E9 were heavily encrypted. He broke through the first layer, then another, and until one hidden folder appeared. It was marked Classified Genesis Failure. His heart raced. He clicked it. Dozens of reports appeared, 10 old, forgotten ones. Scanning through them, he froze when he saw the words. Subject E9 hybrid genome, human origin DNA detected. Aaron leaned forward, reading faster. Experiment based on ancient colonist data. Human DNA recovered from crashed ship on planet Lycerin, combined with native species. Unexpected results, he whispered to himself. Hybrid? That means... He turned to the screen beside him and compared the DNA from Lyra's medical scans. The structure matched, 47% human, 53% unknown. Aaron sank back into his chair, stunned. Lyra wasn't an alien experiment. She was living proof that humans and another world had once shared blood. A soft sound made him look up. The air vent above the lab shifted slightly. A small golden eye peeked through the gap. "Lyra," he whispered. The vent opened quietly, and she dropped down like a shadow, her tiny feet barely touching the floor. She smiled shyly. "You said you'd come back." Aaron chuckled softly. "You didn't exactly wait for me to find you, did you?" She shrugged, her voice quiet. "The machines listen when I ask nicely." He sighed, shaking his head. "You shouldn't be here, Lyra. If anyone sees you..." "I wanted to see the stars," she said, interrupting. "You have a window here." Aaron followed her gaze to the wide glass wall showing the endless black of space. Earth was just a faint blue dot far, far away. Lyra pressed her hand against the window, her reflection glowing softly. "My mother said we came from the stars once. Maybe this is where I belong." Aaron's chest ached. He walked closer and said quietly, "Maybe you belong in both worlds." She turned to him. "Both?" "Yes," he said. "You're part of us, and part of something greater." He decided to show her what he'd discovered. He projected the DNA map in the air, 2 colors dancing like light threads twisting together. "This," he said, "is you. Half human, half something else." Lyra stared at it, eyes wide. "So I'm not a monster?" Aaron shook his head. "No, Lyra, you're a miracle." Her lips trembled. "Then why do they want to destroy me?" Aaron hesitated, searching for words. "Because people fear what they don't understand. And the ones in charge, they like control." Lyra looked down. "Humans are afraid of me." Aaron knelt in front of her, his voice steady but soft. "Not all humans." "Not me." She studied him for a moment, then smiled faintly. "You're different, Aaron." Before he could reply, the lab lights suddenly dimmed. A robotic voice echoed through the hall. "Unauthorized access detected. Security team en route." Aaron cursed under his breath. "They found us." He grabbed his data drive, copying every file about Project E9. "We have to go. Now." Lyra's golden eyes glowed brighter. I can help, Aaron stopped. How? She raised her hand toward the locked door. The panels sparked and hissed. Then the lock disengaged. Aaron stared in disbelief. You can control systems? I can feel them, she said. They speak like the stars. Quiet, but alive. He didn't understand it, but he didn't have time to. He took her hand. Then helped me feel the way out. They ran down the corridor, alarms flashing red. Behind them, soldiers shouted orders. Aaron and Lyra ducked into the maintenance tunnels, crawling through pipes and wires. The metal vibrated with the sound of footsteps above them. As they moved, Lyra's voice trembled. Aaron, what will happen if they catch us? He didn't lie. They'll take you away, and they'll erase me. She stopped crawling. You shouldn't have helped me. Aaron looked back, eyes full of fire. I couldn't just watch you die. You don't understand. You matter, Lyra. You could change everything humans believe about themselves. Lyra whispered. And what do you believe? Aaron smiled weakly. That we're not alone, and maybe we never were. They reached an old service hatch that opened into the lower decks. The air was damp and filled with the hum of old machines. Lyra shivered. It's cold. Aaron took off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. Better? She nodded. It smells like you, he laughed quietly. That's probably the coffee. But when she smiled, it warmed him more than any cup ever could. Suddenly, a flicker of blue light filled the corridor. Security drones. Aaron pushed Lyra behind a metal crate. The drones hovered past, scanning for heat signatures. One paused, beeped, turned toward them. Lyra squeezed Aaron's hand and whispered, Let me try. Her eyes glowed again, brighter, stronger this time. The drone's lights flickered, then went dark. It drifted lifelessly to the floor. Aaron looked at her in awe. You just shut it down? She nodded weakly. It's easy when you listen. But he could see it drained her energy. Her skin looked paler now. He whispered, Don't push yourself. You're still healing. Lyra leaned on him, her voice small. I just wanted to help. He held her close. You already did. Above them, Commander Reese watched from the control room. His face was like stone as he turned to his officers. Dr. Cole has gone rogue, he said coldly. And that creature, whatever she is, must not leave this station alive. The officer nodded. What if they escape, sir? Reese's eyes narrowed. Then we'll remind the galaxy what happens to humans who betray their own kind. But deep in the tunnels below, as Aaron carried Lyra toward the unknown, the small alien girl whispered softly, Aaron. I think I remember now. I wasn't born in a lab. He looked at her, startled. Then where? Lyra blinked slowly. I was found in the ruins of an old human ship. Aaron stopped walking. The truth was only beginning. And it was far more dangerous than either of them had imagined. The air in the maintenance tunnels was thick with smoke and dust. Dr. Aaron Cole could barely breathe as he carried Lyra through the narrow passage, her small body trembling in his arms. Somewhere far above them, alarms screamed like angry machines. The voice of Commander Reese echoed across the speakers. Security teams, seal every exit. Subject E9 and Dr. Cole must be contained at all costs. Aaron's pulse pounded in his ears. They're locking everything down, he muttered. We need a new plan. Lyra stirred weakly, her voice faint. I can help. Just let me see the lights. He knelt and laid her gently on the floor. Her glowing eyes blinked open. She touched the metal wall beside her and whispered something. A sound like a soft song. The tunnel lights flickered, then turned green. A hidden door slid open. Aaron blinked. You just opened a maintenance hatch that isn't even on the map. Lyra smiled faintly. The station listens if you speak kindly. They entered the hidden corridor. It was darker, older, full of rusted pipes and forgotten cables. Every step echoed like thunder. Aaron knew this part of the station was long abandoned. Perfect for hiding. Or dying, he whispered. If we can reach Dock C-12, there's an old transport shuttle. I can override it manually. Lyra nodded, still weak. I'll try to keep the machines quiet. As they moved through the shadowed corridor, Aaron noticed something strange. Small glowing symbols on the walls. They weren't human markings. He stopped to look closer. The lines curved like constellations swirling around each other. Lyra, he said quietly, do you recognize these? She ran her fingers over them and closed her eyes. For a moment, the symbols glowed brighter. Yes, she whispered. It's my people's language. But older. It says, we watched the humans come and we loved them once. Aaron felt a chill. Your people knew us? Lyra looked at him sadly. Long ago. Before the wars. Before the fear. They kept walking until the corridor opened into a massive chamber filled with broken droids and old cargo pods. The air smelled like burnt metal. Aaron dropped his pack and checked his tools. We'll rest here for a moment. Lyra sat beside him, staring up at the ceiling where thin beams of starlight slipped through cracks. She asked softly, do all humans live like this? Running, hiding, Aaron smiled bitterly. No, only the ones who care too much. She tilted her head. Then you care too much, he chuckled. Maybe I do. She leaned closer, studying his face. When you look at me, you don't see a weapon. Aaron shook his head. I see a child. I see someone who deserves to live. Lyra's eyes glistened. You remind me of my mother, he blinked. Your mother? Lyra nodded slowly. She looked like you. She said humans would come back one day, not to take but to protect. Aaron's heart skipped. Lyra, your mother was human? Before she could answer, a loud clang echoed through the chamber. Aaron pulled her behind a crate just as 3 security drones floated in. Their red scanners swept across the room. Lyra whispered, They're here. Aaron whispered back, Stay low. The drones moved closer. One of them beeped Q. It had detected movement. Aaron grabbed a metal rod from the floor. On my signal, he said quietly. Lyra's eyes flashed gold. I'll try to distract them. Before the drones could fire, the lights flickered and the sound of static filled the air. Lyra's voice, calm and soft, echoed through the station speakers. Go to sleep. The drones froze. Their scanners dimmed, their engines hummed once, and then silence. They fell to the floor like toys with dead batteries. Aaron stared in awe. You shut them down. Completely. Lyra swayed, dizzy. They were loud. I made them quiet. He caught her before she fell. You're burning yourself out, Lyra. She smiled faintly. I just don't want you to get hurt. Aaron held her close for a moment, feeling her small heartbeat against his chest. For the first time in years, he felt something real. Something worth fighting for. Suddenly, the loudspeaker crackled again. Dr. Cole! Commander Reese's voice boomed, cold and sharp. You've made a terrible mistake. That creature isn't what you think. Aaron looked up. You're wrong, Reese. She's not dangerous. Reese laughed bitterly through the speaker. You think this is about danger? She carries human DNA, classified DNA from the first colonists. If the world learns what she is, everything we built falls apart. Aaron's stomach twisted. So this is about control. You'd rather kill her than admit we're not alone. I'll do whatever keeps humanity pure, Reese said. And if that means erasing you both, so be it. The channel cut off. Aaron turned to Lyra. We have to move. Now. They ran again, through more corridors, past flickering lights and cold metal halls. Every second felt borrowed. Finally, they reached Dock C-12, a vast hangar filled with old ships. Most were broken, but one still hummed faintly with power, a shuttle named Horizon. Aaron rushed to the control panel. If I can hotwire this, we can escape before they seal the bay. Lyra stood by the window, staring out at the stars. They look closer now, Aaron smiled while typing fast. They'll be even closer soon. But before the engines could start, a figure stepped out of the shadows, Commander Reese himself, blaster in hand. Aaron, he said, voice low and dangerous. Step away from the girl. Aaron stood between Lyra and the commander. No, Reese raised the weapon. You don't understand what she is. She's not a child, she's a signal. She'll bring them here. Aaron's voice broke. Then maybe that's what humanity needs, and a reminder we're not the only ones who matter. Reese's eyes narrowed. You always were too soft. Lyra stepped forward. He's not soft. He's human. Her eyes glowed bright gold, and so bright the whole hangar shimmered. The lights exploded in a wave of energy. Reese stumbled back, dropping his weapon. The shuttle doors flew open. Aaron grabbed Lyra's hand. Go! They ran into the ship as alarms wailed. The engines roared to life. Reese shouted, Cole, if you leave this station, you'll never be allowed to return. Aaron looked back once and said quietly, Then I'll make a new home. One worth coming back to. The shuttle lifted off, fire streaking behind it. As it shot into the dark sky, Lyra pressed her face to the window, whispering, "Thank you." "Aaron, you didn't send me away," but far below, Commander Reese stood in the burning hangar, watching the shuttle disappear into the stars. He touched his earcom and said coldly, "Activate the hunter drones. They won't get far." And deep in space, Aaron and Lyra's fragile freedom had just begun, with the entire galaxy ready to hunt them down. The stars stretched like silver scars across the black sky. Dr. Aaron Cole gripped the controls of the old shuttle Horizon, his knuckles white. The engines groaned. Too weak for long travel, too slow for escape. Behind them, the station Vega 9 shrank into a dot of light. But the danger wasn't behind anymore. It was coming. Lyra sat beside him, her small hands pressed against the cold window. "They're following us," she whispered. Aaron checked the radar. Red dots blinked closer and closer. 3 hunter drones. Fast ones, he cursed under his breath. Reese didn't waste time. Lyra looked at him with wide golden eyes. "Can't we hide?" "Not in open space," Aaron said. "But maybe we can outrun them long enough to reach the asteroid field." He slammed the throttle forward. The old engine screamed. The shuttle shook like a dying heart. Outside, the stars blurred, and the chase began. The first drone fired. A streak of red plasma sliced past the shuttle, grazing the wing. The ship jolted violently. Sparks flew from the console. Lyra grabbed Aaron's arm. "Aaron!" I know," he shouted, trying to stabilize the ship. "Hold on!" Another blast hit the rear. The lights flickered. Warning alarms filled the cabin. "Engine failure, a power critical." Aaron's heart raced. He tried rerouting energy manually. "Come on, Horizon. Don't die on me now." Lyra closed her eyes. "The ship?" "It's afraid," Aaron blinked. "What?" She touched the wall, her fingers glowing faintly. "It's alive in a way. I can feel its pain." Before Aaron could respond, the shuttle's vibration softened. The engine steadied, and as if the ship itself was breathing again. Aaron stared in disbelief. "Did you just calm the ship?" Lyra smiled weakly. "I told it we don't want to die yet." They darted between drifting asteroids. The drones followed, cutting through the dust clouds like silent predators. Aaron weaved between the rocks, scraping metal on stone. Every second felt like the last. Then suddenly the radar went blank. Lyra frowned. "They stopped chasing?" Aaron shook his head. "No. They're hiding their signal. They're still here." He dimmed the lights and powered down the engines. The ship drifted silently through the asteroid field, surrounded by nothing but darkness and the soft hum of life support. For a moment, there was peace. Lyra leaned against him, exhausted. "You saved me again," Aaron smiled softly. "Not yet. We're just lucky." She looked up at him. "Why do you risk so much for me, Aaron?" "You could have stayed safe." He paused. "Because when I saw you in that cell, I saw my own reflection. Scared, small, trapped by people who stopped believing in kindness." Lyra's eyes glistened. "You're not like them," Aaron chuckled. "Neither are you." A red flash outside cut through the moment. The drones were back, 3 sharp lights in the darkness and closing fast. Aaron yelled, "Hang on!" He powered the ship again, but the engines sputtered. The drones fired. One blast tore through the hull, throwing them both to the floor. Lyra screamed. Smoke filled the cockpit. Aaron coughed, grabbing the manual extinguisher. "We're losing air." He rushed to seal the breach, but the oxygen meter dropped fast. Lyra gasped, clutching her chest. "It's hard to breathe." Aaron froze, then remembered. Her alien lungs couldn't handle thin oxygen. They were shutting down. "Lyra!" he shouted, kneeling beside her. Her skin was turning pale silver. Her heartbeat was faint. She whispered weakly, "Don't send me away." Aaron's throat tightened. No, I'm not losing you. Not now." He dragged her to the medical bay, a small compartment filled with old equipment. He opened a drawer, hands shaking, searching for tools. He had studied alien physiology before. He knew the structure of her lungs, fragile, different, not meant for human air. He thought fast. If I can build a hybrid lung, human design, alien structure, maybe I can save her. He set his tools down. Wires, filters, oxygen mesh, nanogel. Everything he could find. The ship rattled again from another drone blast, but Aaron didn't stop. His focus was absolute. Lyra's voice came faintly. "Aaron, you can't..." He cut her off. Don't talk. Just breathe. Or try to. I can't, she whispered. He worked faster. Then I'll breathe for both of us. He built the device piece by piece, a tiny machine heart that could filter any air and adapt it to her blood. His fingers bled, his eyes burned, but he didn't care. Finally, he connected it. Please work, he whispered. He placed the small silver device against her chest. It glowed softly, then pulsed once, twice, and then began to hum. Lyra gasped suddenly, air rushing back into her lungs. Her eyes snapped open, golden light bursting like sunrise. Aaron laughed in disbelief, tears running down his face. You're okay. You're okay. Lyra touched the glowing patch on her chest. What did you do? He smiled. I gave you something no one could take away, a new breath. Her eyes filled with tears. You gave me life. He whispered, No, Lyra, you gave me a reason to live. But the moment didn't last. The hull shook again. The drones had locked on. Aaron rushed back to the cockpit. We can't fight them. We have to disappear. Lyra followed weakly. How? He pointed to the asteroid scanner. There's a dense cluster nearby, full of magnetic ore. If we fly through it, they'll lose our signal. She nodded. Then let me help one last time. Her eyes glowed again, brighter than ever. She placed her hand on the console. The entire ship responded. Lights dimmed, engines synced perfectly like she and the horizon were one. Aaron guided the shuttle through the asteroid storm. Rocks smashed, sparks flew, but the drones lost their trail. When it was finally over, silence returned. The radar was clear. Aaron exhaled shakily. We did it. Lyra smiled weakly. See, I told you the ship listens. Aaron chuckled, wiping sweat and soot from his face. Yeah, maybe it listens to you more than me. For a long moment, neither spoke. Only the stars filled the silence. Then Lyra whispered, Aaron, if they find us again, promise me something. He looked at her. What? Don't let them take me back. I'd rather die free than sleep in their cold cage again. Aaron's chest ached. He touched her shoulder gently. No one's taking you. Not while I'm still breathing. Lyra smiled faintly, her voice soft. Then I'll breathe with you. Far behind them, Commander Reese watched the tracking screen. The signal vanished into static. He clenched his fists. They think they can hide? Let them. The longer they run, the more they'll learn the truth about what she really is. He looked out the window at the empty stars. That girl isn't just a hybrid, he whispered. She's the key. The silence of space was heavy. No alarms, no voices, no sound. Just the slow hum of the shuttle drifting through the dark. Dr. Aaron Cole sat near the cockpit, staring at the stars. His body ached. His hands were covered in grease and dried blood. But all he could think about was her Lyra. She was asleep on the floor beside him, wrapped in his jacket. The small device he built, her new lung, pulsed softly against her chest like a silver heartbeat. For the first time since he met her, she looked peaceful. And yet deep inside, Aaron felt something was wrong. The ship's radar was quiet. Too quiet. He stood up and checked the sensors again. Nothing. No drones. No signals. But the air around him felt different, colder, heavier. He whispered, They're not chasing us anymore. Why? He turned as Lyra stirred. Her golden eyes opened slowly, glowing faintly in the dim light. You didn't sleep, she said softly. Aaron smiled tiredly. Neither did you. She sat up, touching her chest. It feels strange, warm, like something alive is inside me. Aaron crouched beside her. It's the hybrid lung. It's adapting to your blood. Lyra nodded slowly. It doesn't feel human or alien. It feels like both. Aaron looked at her carefully. That's what makes you special, Lyra. She tilted her head. Special or dangerous? Aaron hesitated. Depends on who you ask. For a while they sat in silence, watching the stars drift by. Lyra finally whispered, Aaron, why do humans fear what's different? He sighed. Because it reminds us how small we are, and humans hate feeling small. Lyra smiled sadly. Then you're not like most humans. He chuckled softly. I've been told that. The peace didn't last. The console beeped. A soft pulse of blue light flashing across the screen. Aaron frowned. That's not a radar signal. It's a transmission. He opened it. A holographic projection flickered above the control panel. Commander Reese's face appeared, cold and expressionless. "Dr. Cole, I knew you'd survive." "You always were too stubborn to die easily." Aaron clenched his jaw. "Reese, what do you want?" "I'm giving you a choice," Reese said calmly. "Bring the girl back and I'll clear your record." "You'll live." Aaron laughed bitterly. "And what about her?" Reese's voice turned hard. "She'll be studied, safely of course. She's too valuable to destroy. You don't understand what she really is." Aaron slammed his fist on the console. "She's a child, not a weapon." Reese leaned forward. "Then tell me, Doctor, how do you explain what she did to those drones? Or how she controls systems just by thinking? She's not a child. She's a creation, built to connect with technology to control it." Aaron froze. "That's impossible." "Check your own data if you don't believe me," Reese said. "You've already seen the truth buried in her DNA. She's human enough to feel, but alien enough to command machines. She could control every network in the galaxy if she learns how." The transmission cut out. Aaron stood there trembling. No, that's not true." Lyra looked at him quietly. "Aaron, he's not lying." Aaron turned, eyes wide. "What?" She nodded slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "I can feel them. The machines. The signals. They're like voices in my head. When I tell them to stop, they stop. When I want them gone, they disappear." Aaron stepped closer, heart pounding. "Lyra, you're not a weapon." "You're—" She interrupted softly. "Then what am I?" He couldn't answer. He wanted to tell her she was just a girl, innocent and good, but he didn't know anymore. Lyra's eyes shimmered with light. "I can feel the drone searching for us. I can feel the ship listening to me. I can feel you, Aaron, your heartbeat, your fear." Aaron whispered, "Stop. You're pushing yourself too far." But Lyra shook her head. "No, I want to know who I am." The lights on the ship flickered wildly. The walls vibrated. Screens glowed with strange golden symbols, the same markings from the tunnels. Aaron grabbed her shoulders. "Lyra, stop! You'll burn yourself out." Tears streamed down her face. "I don't want to be a monster." "Then don't be," Aaron shouted. "You get to choose who you are, not them, not me, not anyone." The lights went out. Silence fell. A moment later, the ship's systems rebooted slowly. The hum returned, gentle and calm. Lyra collapsed into Aaron's arms, trembling but alive. Her voice was small. I felt everything. So many voices. Machines crying. They're all connected. I can make them peaceful. Or destroy them." Aaron held her tight. "Then promise me something." She looked up at him. "What?" "Promise you'll never use that power to hurt anyone, even if they hurt you first." Lyra nodded weakly. "I promise," he smiled sadly. "Good, because that's what makes you human." Suddenly, the ship shuddered again. The radar lit up, hundreds of red dots. Reese's voice echoed through the comm. "You made your choice, Doctor. Now live with it." A fleet of drones appeared outside, surrounding them like a metal storm. Aaron took a deep breath. "So that's it. They found us." Lyra stood up, her golden light glowing brighter than before. "Then let me save you." Aaron grabbed her wrist. "No, you can't control that many. It'll kill you." She smiled faintly. "You gave me lungs to breathe. Let me give you something too, I'm a chance." "Lyra, please." She placed her hand on his chest. "Thank you for seeing me as more than a machine." Before he could stop her, she turned toward the window and lifted her hands. Her eyes burned like suns. The entire ship filled with golden light. Outside, the drones froze mid-flight. One by one, they shut down, drifting silently through space like falling stars. Aaron shielded his face, shouting, "Lyra!" Stop, but it was too late. The light faded. She fell into his arms, her heartbeat faint, her voice soft. "Did I do good, Aaron?" His eyes filled with tears. "You did more than good. You gave us hope." For a long time he held her in the quiet dark, surrounded by the floating wrecks of dead drones. Then he whispered, "You made your choice, Lyra, and so will I." He turned the shuttle toward the distant glow of a planet, blue and alive, somewhere they could hide, somewhere she could heal. Far away in the control room of a military ship, Commander Reese watched the footage, the drones collapsing, the light spreading through the void. He whispered to himself, "She's awakening. And when she does, humanity won't be the same." The horizon drifted through the silence of space. a small, broken ship surrounded by the wreckage of the destroyed drones. Inside, the lights were dim. The air smelled of smoke and ozone. Dr. Aaron Cole sat beside Lyra, holding her hand tightly, afraid to let go. Her golden eyes were half closed. The faint light of the hybrid lung still glowed on her chest, but weak, fading like a candle in the wind. "Stay with me," Aaron whispered. "You hear me, Lyra? Just keep breathing." She smiled faintly, her voice soft and distant. "I can still hear them. The machines. The stars. They're all singing." Aaron's throat tightened. "Don't talk. Save your strength." But she shook her head slowly. "They're calling me, Aaron. The ones who came before. The ones who built everything." The ship's console blinked weakly. Fuel almost gone, systems failing. Aaron looked at the nav screen. One planet in range. "Blue, green, and covered in mist," he whispered. "We'll land there. You'll rest. You'll be safe." Lyra looked at the image and smiled softly. "It's beautiful." Aaron began the descent manually. The ship shuddered, fire streaking across the hull as they entered the planet's atmosphere. He fought the controls, sweating, shouting, "Come on, Horizon! Hold together!" The ship broke through the clouds and crashed into a quiet valley surrounded by silver mountains. The impact was rough, but somehow they survived. When Aaron opened his eyes, everything was silent, except the faint wind outside and the slow hum of Lyra's breathing. He helped her outside. The sky was strange, golden clouds swirling over rivers of light. The ground was soft like moss, glowing faintly under their feet. Lyra looked around in awe. "This world, it's alive," Aaron smiled tiredly. "Then maybe it'll like you." She laughed weakly, the sound gentle as wind chimes, but then she stopped, her gaze distant. "Aaron, they're here," he frowned. "Who?" She looked up. "The ones who left the message on the walls. My people." Above them, in the clouds, lights began to shimmer. Thousands of small golden points forming patterns like constellations. A voice, not quite sound, whispered through the air. "Child of two worlds, the bridge between stars and flesh." Aaron's heart pounded. "Lyra, what's happening?" She closed her eyes. "They're speaking to me. They've been waiting for me to wake up." Suddenly, her body glowed brighter. The ground around her rippled like water. Aaron reached for her. "Lyra, stop. You're hurting yourself." She smiled through tears. "No, Aaron, I'm remembering." Images flashed around them. Ancient cities floating in the sky. Humans and aliens standing side by side. Building worlds together before it all fell to war and fear. Aaron fell to his knees, overwhelmed. This is history." Lyra's voice was soft but clear. "We were one once. Humans and my people. We shared knowledge, dreams, and hearts. But fear tore us apart. I was made to remember. So one day someone kind enough would find me." Aaron's eyes filled with tears. "Then why me?" Lyra reached out, touching his face. "Because you chose compassion when others chose fear." Her glow began to fade. She looked weaker, almost transparent. Aaron held her tight. No, don't leave me," she smiled. "You gave me life, Aaron. You made me more than a machine. Now I'll give you something too, a voice among the stars." He shook his head, crying, "Please, I can't lose you." Her hand touched his chest gently. "You won't. I'll always be here." The wind grew louder, swirling with light. Lyra looked up at the sky and whispered one last time, "I'll do anything. Just don't send me away." Then her light exploded, silent, soft, and endless. The glow rose into the air, scattering into millions of golden sparks that joined the constellations above. Aaron reached out helplessly, watching the light disappear into the heavens. Hours passed. The valley grew quiet again. Aaron sat alone beside the crashed ship, his hands shaking. Then the ship's console flickered, a soft golden light forming words across the screen. "Thank you for giving me breath. Now I give you hope." He smiled through his tears. "Goodbye, Lyra." The stars above shimmered, and for just a moment he swore he heard her voice carried on the wind. "You're not alone anymore, Aaron." Weeks later, the Horizon's beacon activated on its own, sending out a faint signal across the galaxy, a song made of human and alien frequencies combined. In distant corners of space, scientists, explorers, and even old enemies paused when they heard it. The message was clear, written in every language and every tone. We were never meant to be alone. Epilogue, The Whisper Beyond the Stars Doctor. Aaron Cole looked up at the night sky of his new world. A single golden light blinked in the constellation Lyra. He smiled softly and whispered, "She's still watching," and somewhere, across the endless dark, a faint, familiar voice whispered back, "I'm home." End message for your audience. Sometimes humanity's greatest invention isn't made of metal or code. It's the courage to love what others fear.